Welcome back, baseball fans, as we continue this Legends in the Making playthrough where we're going from 1921 all the way to 2025. We are now into 1975, and I believe in this episode we are going to get the dramatic shakeup of free agency. I know Catfish Hunter, I think it was after the 1974 season, was able to break away from his contract. I believe it was 1976 when all free agency and the reserve clause goes away. So that's going to change things dramatically for us and all the teams, and we're going to have to manage our money well. So as we get ready for the 1975 season, we need to keep that in mind. We have had two phenomenal seasons only to come up short to the stinking Dodgers in the playoffs in the league championship series. So we are sending out this time Jim Palmer, Tommy John, Catfish Hunter, and Phil Necro in our rotation. Jim Brewer is going to be our closer yet again. Jim Bunning's the setup man. That's all we've got in the bullpen. We have Lou Brock leading the way out and left. Clemente is going to bat second and center. Dave Parker is going to bat third in right field. Steve Garvey's going to get a shot this season to bat instead of Tony Perez. That's a tough one for me, but between him and Perez, Perez had a very good season last year, the last 2 years actually, but I think this is Garvey's time. We'll find out. Might switch that back. Gene Tennis at catcher, Ron Say at third, Dave Concepcion at second, and Cleat Boyer to round up the order at shortstop. Still going strong, especially defensively. So we're going to hope to do it with pitching and defense again, only we do have the power this time of Parker and Garvey and Tennis and Say. Perez is on the bench. He'll be playing quite a bit, though. But we will see how we do in this season, trying to make it back to the World Series and dethrone the Dodgers, who are sitting there still with Hank Aaron, who will not be the same Hank Aaron, I would imagine. He is coming into this at 716 home runs. He's so close, but I don't know if he'll get there. They do not seem, Richie Hebner, they have Dalrymple again. I don't know. They don't seem to me to be the team to beat, but they've beaten us even at a 500 record last time. So with that being said, let's jump into the season and see how it plays out. The first half of the season is going pretty well for us. We are 3 games up on the Pirates. They are back to challenge. And Koufax actually had a 4-something ERA at one point, but he's obviously gotten under control. They're doing it with their pitching. Their hitting is they're 6 runs scored, though, somehow, so they are getting things done. The Dodgers, interestingly enough, I think will probably fall off because Al Kaline has retired and Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew actually retired a year before he did in real life. He played through the 1975 season, but 471 home runs, I'm pretty sure that's less, 100 less than what he got in reality, which is interesting. He never was able to get there. Again, the power numbers weren't quite there. And Al Kaline, 428 home runs, 3,400 hits. He did better, achieved more, 400 more hits, more home runs. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Both of them should make it. Killebrew, I'm not as confident in at first base, but I hope they both make it. So let's take a look at the standings. We are 3 games up on our old rival, the Pirates, who are mounting that charge. They were in first for a few games as well. It's been back and forth the whole season. The Giants are 2 games up on the Reds. Everybody's got a shot still down here in the West. It is once again a very mediocre division. The Giants have just lost 5 straight, but the Dodgers are hanging in there. The Astros and Reds are pushing there. So Baltimore is back up on top in the AL East. The Yankees have fallen way out. So have the Red Sox. The Angels are in first yet again, but this is another one. Anybody's race at the moment in the AL West. When we look at our leaders, Bob Watson from Minnesota is hitting .314. Willie Stargell has 24 home runs. He has been leading the way up near the top anyways of home runs the past few years. Mike Schmidt with 75 RBIs to go with his 21 home runs, and his batting average is getting better and better. Davey Lopes has 38 stolen bases, besting Joe Morgan at the moment. Stargell with a .953 OPS. Schmidt with a .54 batter WAR. Thurman Munson had an 18-game hitting streak. John Candelaria, I'm sure I messed that up, is at a 2.15 ERA. Carlton's sitting there at 2.51. Candelaria again with 13 wins. And Burt Blyleven, 140 strikeouts, continuing to do his thing. Raleigh Eastwick, 27 saves for Milwaukee. That is a lot of saves. If we don't get to 40 saves this time, something's going on. Burt Blyleven, again, well above the rest when it comes to pitcher WAR. Maybe I should just float an offer to see if there's any interest there. He's 6-11 in Minnesota. Dave Parker's leading the way, tied with Rod Carew with a 354 average in the NL. Kingman has 24 home runs, but Parker is sitting there with 21. And Parker has 87 RBI. He is making a run at the Triple Crown if he can catch Kingman when it comes to home runs. Lou Brock is well ahead of Gary Maddox with 35 stolen bases. The OPS is Dave Parker again with 1.052. Clemente's up there as well, hitting 346 again. He could make a run at the batting title, so watch out, teammate. Fred Lynn had a 23-game hitting streak. Catfish Hunter is leading the way with a 2.14 ERA, although Koufax has closed it a lot. And Seaver, the two usual suspects. In wins are Hunter, Palmer, and Necro, 15, 15, and 13. Seaver has 146 strikeouts, though. Raleigh Fingers is showing up here with 24 saves. He's one away from how many he had last season. So again, we should see increases. And then Tom Seaver with a 5.6 pitcher WAR. I do want to see Brewer's got 13 saves, so he's just not getting the opportunities. We're scoring the most runs. You can see here offensively, we are doing fantastic. Everything but base running, we're in first. And when it comes to defense and pitching, second in starters, seventh in strikeouts, but our defense is so good that it's okay that they're putting the ball on play. And that's why we emphasized our defense. You'll notice Tony Perez is in the starting lineup. That's because Steve Garvey is currently injured. He should be back fairly soon. Garvey's been having a solid season as well. They've been kind of about the same until Perez got in the starting lineup. Then he started to falter. Here we go. Frank Robinson's got his 500th home run. Let's take a look at the All-Stars. Burt Blyleven getting the start for the AL. Terry Forster in relief. We have 3 closers and 2 relievers, so things are changing a little bit. Bill Freehan for the White Sox at catcher. Boog Powell at first base. Joe Morgan at second. Bert Campaneris at short. Mike Schmidt is there at short as well. Probably should be third. Greg Nettles is in there. Joe Morgan, 4.6 WAR again. Schmidt, 5.1. Wow. Bernie Carbo at left field, hitting 9 home runs, 271. We have Ted Simmons in center field and Reggie Jackson with 14 home runs sitting in right field. In the NL, we've got Hunter, Tommy John, Jim Brewer, Jim Bunning, all being named to the All-Star team, but it's Sandy Koufax again getting the start, picked by the fans. Seaver's there as well. Bob Reynolds is the starter reliever. Raleigh Fingers makes his All-Star team. Is that his first one? It is. And then we've got Dick Deitz beating out Gene Tennis, but that seems fair considering he's hitting 349, 489, 502 to 232. And so, hey, 10 stolen bases for Tennis, though. Hank Aaron at first base, even though he's hitting 234 with 12 home runs and a .4 WAR. Name recognition. Rod Carew at second. Ron Say gets a call up to the All-Star team, but Pete Rose is the starter at third. Cleat Boyer again at short. Roberto Clemente in center. Jose Cardinal in left. And Dave Parker in right. So we are doing well, but again, free agency is going to maybe change some of these things. And can we keep this team together? And how will that look? So let's finish out the 1975 season and see how things go. Well, we finished the season extremely strong, pulling away from the Pirates to win by 18 games. But again, the East was the better division, but we had to go up against the stinking Dodgers, who made it back again by a game with 83 wins. We were 8-4 against them in the regular season, but we were 11-1 against them last season, and they beat us with a 500 record. So we'll see how that turned out. The Orioles getting back to the ALCS, 8 games over the Tigers, and the Angels returning yet again, beating out the Twins. Now, when it gets to the playoffs, you will see we were able to beat the Dodgers, but we were up by a game, fell down 2-1, came back to win 3-2. The Angels again made the World Series, and that is where we stomped them. So when we take it to the League Championship Series, like I said, we won the first one 5-4, but then lost 3-1, 5-4. Took the Fourth one, 5-4, and then one 5-2, with Steve Garvey getting the MVP with 1 home run, 3 RBIs. Now you look for the season, our runs scored 817 and 505, 675 to 670, just absolutely decimating other teams here. In the World Series, we won 4-1. We lost the first one, and then after that, it was just 1-0, 4-0, 2-1, 7-4. The pitching, Hunter and Necro, 2 complete game shutouts back-to-back, just totally destroyed them. Clemente picked up the World Series MVP, hitting 2 home runs on the way. And again, you can see how much better we were as a team when it comes to runs scored and runs against than the Angels. So this ended up being the 3rd trip to the playoffs for the Angels. They'll get there. They've got a good team. They're doing well. But our 15th championship to continue to lead the way, the Dodgers weren't able to close that gap any on us. But we did get the news that free agency is going to be happening, and we can look at the contracts. When we do, we see we've got a lot of people that are on their last year of contracts. We've got some arbitration people that Ron Say, Concepcion, Dave Parker, we want to hang on to, but these others, I don't know. So we upped the finances as much as we could. We're up in it quite a bit, 9.4%, to try to get some more money in the bank, because we have some expensive people, but so does everybody else. And it'll be interesting to see how will things play out, and if they are going to, you have free agents that are just going to be sitting there because nobody can afford them, because everybody's going to be a free agent all at once. Or will people make their signings? We'll find out. So the Major League Awards, before we move on to the draft. In the AL, Gold Gloves go to Steve Renko, Johnny Bench yet again, George Scott for the Orioles, Bobby Grich at second, Roy Stager at third, Mark Bellinger for the Yankees, Mike Anderson, Bill North, and Dwight Evans round out the outfield. 2 outfielders for the A's. In the NL, it was Rick Wise and Clay Dalrymple, the battery combination for the Dodgers. Steve Garvey picking up at first base. He had a good season when he came back, hitting .320, 14 home runs, 71 RBI in just 120 games. Rod Carew gets it at second, Ken McMullen at third, Frank Duffy at short, and the outfielder goes to John Milner, Jose Cruz, and our man Dave Parker. AL Reliever of the Year goes to Clay Carroll, 24 first place votes with 45 saves. So when we go back to look at the final standings, we will see he does set a new record, single season record. In the NL, Jim Brewer for us with 32 saves, 5-4 record, 1.76 ERA, gets another one unanimously as well over Knowles, who had 41 saves. Silver Sluggers in the AL go to Tom Hosley at catcher, Bob Watson at first, Joe Morgan again at second, 62 stolen bases for the man. George Brett at third, getting his first of many. Mike Schmidt at short. Actually, these two are going to be competing against each other this time, unless free agency changes things down the road. Gary Matthews in left, Ted Simmons in center, Reggie Jackson, 30-30 man, 32 home runs, 35 stolen bases. And Boog Powell for the DH. Did he ever... That's a career high. He never got the 30 in real life, but he did for us here. NL, we have Jim Barr at pitcher hitting .347. Dick Deitz hitting .302 at catcher. John Mayberry with 18 home runs, .286 at first base, beating out Garvey, interesting enough. I think if Garvey had a whole season, that would have changed. Rod Carew at second. Bill Madlock at third. Cleat Boyer at short, getting another one. He's got to have Hall of Fame credentials. He does barely. He'll be interesting. Left fielder goes to Ron Fairley and Roberto Clemente at center and Dave Parker at right. Speaking of Hall of Fame, I forgot to start the season with who made it for the Hall of Fame. I believe Harvey Haddix was the only Hall of Famer that made it this past year. So we got 2 there. Top rookie, John Candelaria. 24 unanimous votes, 19-8, 173 strikeouts, and a 2.32 ERA, getting the Rookie of the Year. In the NL, it was Fred Lynn unanimously with his 17 home runs, 298 average, 63 RBI, and 87 runs scored, a 4.4 WAR. Cy Young in the AL goes to Candelaria, so he gets the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year in 1975. which he had a good season there too. He just didn't have the innings and the games in real life for Pittsburgh. Beating out Burt Blyleven, who got 6 first place votes. The NL, Catfish Hunter and Sandy Koufax split, and by 1 point, Catfish Hunter's going to get it. 2.23 ERA, 28 wins, 174 strikeouts. To Koufax's 22 wins, 2.01 ERA, 235 strikeouts. Palmer and Tommy John were both up there, and so was Necro as well. But good job, Catfish Hunter. He had 30 complete games in 1975 in real life. I think that was his Cy Young winner year for him. Joe Morgan beats out Reggie Jackson barely for the MVP in the AL, and Dave Parker unanimously gets it in the NL. 29 home runs, 132 RBIs, and 341 average. Let's see if that was enough to get any Triple Crown. Doesn't look like it was. But let's start with the AL. Bob Watson took the batting title with 331. Schmidt and Stargell tied with 35 home runs. George Scott had 118 RBI, barely eking it out over Mike Schmidt. Joe Morgan came storming back down the base paths, 62 stolen bases. Ted Simmons with a 906 OPS. Reggie Jackson had a 9.2 WAR. George Scott, 29-game hitting streak, or to finish the season on a 17-1. Ken Delaria had a 2.32 ERA. Ken Brett with 23 wins. Burt Blyleven with 228 strikeouts, again, keeping up Nolan Ryan at bay. Clay Carroll with 45 saves did set the new single season record. And Burt Blyleven with a 7.7 WAR continues to lead the field in that category. The NL, Bell Madlock comes back to beat Parker and Clemente for the batting title. Dave Kingman stormed his way through to the home run title. Parker fell off immensely on that, only picking up, about 8 in the second half. But he had 132 RBI. Lou Brock, 62 stolen bases. Concepcion, 42. Dave Parker had the OPS with 979 and batter war with 10.4, followed by Clemente at 8.8. Koufax with a 2.01 ERA. Catfish Hunter at 2.23, but 28 wins, followed by his teammates Palmer and John. Frank Tanana with 253 strikeouts for the Padres. Darrell Knowles with 41 saves for Pittsburgh, and Tom Seaver with a 7.3 pitcher WAR. So that brings us to the first-year player draft, and we will see. We have Wade Boggs and Ricky Henderson and Alan Trammell all in this draft. We also have got Lou Whitaker, who apparently could not sign with the Padres last time. Only we are not going to get any of these guys. And after those initial ones, it drops way off. So we'll see who falls to us in 29th position. We've got 5 compensation picks in front of us. Couldn't get a compensation pick for last year's because he only wanted like $200 to sign. So it did not work out. But let's see who goes first. Will it be Boggs or Henderson going to the Padres? It'll be Wade Boggs. And then the Phillies are going to take Ricky Henderson. The Yankees get Mike Scott. Alan Trammell for the Guardians, or Cleveland Indians still at the time. Padres take Jake Howe. Dave Smith to the Braves. Sweet Lou Whitaker to the Expos. Fell to pick 7. He should have signed last year. The Rangers get Danny Darwin. The Yankees, Pascual Perez. Bob James to the Brewers. Ron Hassey to the Royals. The Astros take Bruce Hurst. The White Sox, which I hated that symbol for them. That just doesn't look... Yeah. Personal preference. Bob Brenly goes to the White Sox. With the 14th pick, the Giants take Victor Cruz. Red Sox take Leon Bull Durham. John Fulgham to the Reds. Neil Allen to the Dodgers. Steve Kemp to the Dodgers. Gary Lucas to the Orioles. Ray Searage to the Tigers. The Mets take Willie Upshaw. The Cubs, Floyd Bannister. Bruce Berigny to the A's. Ken Phelps to the Twins. Rick Honeycutt, I was hoping to kind of get him, to the Orioles. Bob Shirley to the Angels. Jack Morris. Oh, I didn't even see Jack Morris out there. No. Let's add him to the short list. When I was looking through the initial, I did not see him. California takes Randy Neiman, and he almost fell to us. Oh, that's a shame. Pat Tabler, third baseman. Yay. Not impressing me. Tony Pena Sr.'s out there. Could use another catcher coming along. Let's see. We don't have anybody out here that can hit. Let's see who's out there as far as pitchers go. John Tudor, Ron Davis. Not a lot out here either. I think we'll go with Pena. Yeah, we're going to take Pena to round out the first round. Tony Pena Sr., we will take him. We are going to meet the demands because we need to make sure we have a farm system with free agency on the horizon. I don't know what's going to happen and change that. Mike Scioscia's out there as well. So we're going to finish out this draft, get ready for the 1976 season. And after the 1976 season, everything's going to change as we enter into the era of free agency. Well, opening day is upon us, and we get to go after the Chicago Cubs. And it is the dawn of a new era because we now have free agency for sure. Because when we look, we have our salaries. We've signed some of our players. We've got arbitration coming up. It's going to be a game changer. Luckily, I've been adding more and more to the ticket price. We've always been up near the top. So we have a decent amount of money at the moment and a good fan loyalty and fan interest, which will hopefully help us because our payroll is second. We're tied for third on budget. So I don't know how long that will last, but for now, we're in good shape. We have the Hall of Fame results, which would be nobody getting in. Monte Irvin, unfortunately, gets dropped after 10 years, only 48% there. I thought for sure he'd have a shot. Not quite enough to get in. He was a little lower on everything, which is a shame because I thought he was going to get in. Enos Slaughter's another one I thought would get in. 3,100 hits, 71 WAR. He didn't quite make it either. So his numbers weren't quite as good as Monte Irvin. Ballplayer Gonzalez has been right there the whole time. He hasn't been able to get in. Bob Friend got dropped as well. Whitey Ford struggling. Ralph Kiner. These guys are just not quite having enough to get in. And Duke Snyder to get into what is a tough Hall of Fame to get into. Robin Roberts as well. So that's where we are going into this. You can see the top prospects. We have nobody. When we look at the minor league system, we're 18th. We've got Jack Clark, Mitchell Page, and Gary Templeton for us. We did make a trade. That trade was for Nolan Ryan, and then we went and we signed him to a 15-year extension because I know he's going to be around forever. And so we got him basically for the rest of his career. And who we traded, though, we did give up a lot. We did a 1-for-1. Our GM didn't like this one, but we gave away two. We gave Catfish Hunter and Lou Piniella away. Piniella hasn't really played for us, so that one's not a loss. And maybe he'll get a chance to actually do something for somebody. But Catfish Hunter, he's coming off of a fantastic Cy Young winning season where I don't know, this may be stupid, but I think he does not have the longevity that Nolan Ryan has, so we'll see how that works. So our lineup and our rotation, we got Jim Palmer, Tommy John, Nolan Ryan, and Phil Niekro. So Ryan's just taking over for Hunter, and we'll see how this goes as he walks all kinds of people. But he's got a better defense behind him, I think. Jim Brewer is going to be our closer yet again. Now, the lineup will be Lou Brock in left, Clemente in center, Steve Garvey at first, Dave Parker at right. We did make a decision to where I signed Garvey to an extension. Tony Perez is going to be let go after this season. Parker's in right, Say is in third, Tennis is at catcher. A defensive liability, but everything else is so good. We signed him to like a 2 or 3 year extension. Dave Concepcion and Cleat Boyer. All of these guys are locked up for next year. You can see who our upcoming free agents are going to be. Jim Bunning, but he's probably going to retire or close to it anyways, and he's in the bullpen. So we're not losing any of our pitchers, thankfully. But Tony Perez and Jesus Alou are going to be the two. And Maury Wills, I know he's still around, but he'll be going. He's just been a backup, a decent backup to have, but he's going to be let go. So we're not losing anybody. We locked up everybody else, and we will see who's out there as a free agent as well. But let's dive into this season and see how it plays out. Well, this season is proving to be a much, much closer season. We have been back and forth fighting the Pirates and the Mets. The Cubs were up there at one point. They won 12 in a row. We just dropped 7 in a row before. Now we've won 5 in a row to get ourselves back into first place against the Pirates. The Braves are doing really well in the NL West this season, 5.5 up against the Padres, and thankfully the Dodgers are 12 back, so we won't hopefully have to face them, as they are definitely a shell of themselves. Did Aaron retire? Nope, he's still with LA. He's just not starting anymore. Oh, right. In the AL, the Tigers are a half game up over the Orioles. This is anybody's race still. The Yankees are probably out of it, but that's because they've lost 5 in a row. Otherwise, it's a tight one. And then the Angels are holding on by a thread against the Rangers and the A's. Let's take a look at Catfish Hunter, 2.96 ERA, having a great season yet again. We'll see how that plays out. George Brett is up there for them. Pinella's having a good. I'm glad he gets to actually play. Willie Stargell's on their team, so they've got a tough team. When we look at the leaders right now, AL, we've got Ed Kranepool in the lead for the batting average at 336, barely beating out Yastrzemski. Johnny Bench with 16 home runs. Rick Monday, 60 RBI for California. Freddie Patek with 49 stolen bases, well ahead of Joe Morgan. But we saw what Morgan did that other time. Look at that. Look at this. This is just amazing. He already a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not quite, but he'll get there. Then we've got OPS goes to Yastrzemski at 935. The batter WAR, Reggie Jackson at 4.6. Bob Bailey with 25-game hitting streak. Jim Perry, 2.36 ERA. Montefusco with 11 wins. And Burt Blyleven, no surprise, 138 strikeouts. Nolan Ryan's not up here anymore for him that way. Rowley Eastwick with 24 saves. And Dennis Leonard with a 4.7 WAR. In the NL, we've got Lyman Bostock with a 350 batting average. Bobby Bonds with 17 home runs. Dave Parker with 51 RBI, even though he's only got 6 home runs, and he's hitting 284. So not anywhere where he was last season with that MVP year, but he's still doing okay. I hope he picks up the power numbers for us. Cesar Cedeno has 34 stolen bases, 1 up on Lou Brock. But Brock is also scoring quite a few runs, and we see where he has total stolen bases up to 611. So he's actually going to appear onto the career leaderboard whenever we get there in 1980 and check it out again. Gene Tennis with an 896 OPS. So the OPS is way down right now for the NL, but look at that. He's hitting 307, 9 home runs, 42 RBIs. He's getting on base a lot. Jay Johnstone with a 4.4 batter WAR. Clemente's at 4.1. He's hitting 306 again. Another solid season. Bobby Mercer with the 22-game hitting streak, but Bostock's on a 17-game one. And Koufax, we see why the OPS is so bad for the NL, because Koufax has a 1.66 ERA. Vida Blue's at 1.92 and Burt Hooton at 1.97. Wow. Hooton and Koufax both have 14 wins. Jim Palmer's right behind him with 13. And then Koufax is leading the way in strikeouts. Nolan Ryan's at 120. So if we look at Ks per 9, 7.6 for Koufax. And we have Nolan Ryan at 8, which means Ryan's not going as far into the games, though, because he's throwing a lot more pitches and he's walking a lot more people. So that's the thing that's holding him back. That control is just making it tough. Mark Littell with 23 saves and Koufax with a 5.4 pitcher WAR. Our lineup's doing really well. Offensively, we're crushing it. Home runs, we're doing just fine because we're scoring the runs. We're getting on base. Everything's going well. Runs against have gotten better. The starters ERA has been our weak spot, but we're getting better. And our defense has been surprisingly not as strong. And strikeouts haven't gone anywhere up with Nolan Ryan now on the team. Brewer's been struggling back there at the closer spot. But other than that, we're doing fine. I'm not too worried. I think we can finish strong. It's just a matter of will we finish stronger than the Pirates and the Mets. When we look at the all-star teams, in the AL, your starters are John Montefusco. Catfish Hunter did make it again, though. Gene Garber for Cleveland. No starting catcher, apparently. Yastrzemski first. Joe Morgan at second. But Johnny Bench, I'm going to guess, gets that nod. Oh, or no, Thurman Munson has a 3.4 WAR. Maybe Munson gets it. George Brett at third. And Mike Schmidt probably at short. Bernie Carbo in left. Billy Williams in left. Bake McBride in center, Ted Simmons in right, and Reggie Jackson in right. So we just have a bunch of starting outfielders. No catchers, though. Dave Winfield getting in there for his rookie year. Okay, well done, Dave. In the NL, take your pick of pitchers, apparently. Sandy Koufax gets the starting nod. We do get Palmer in there. Jim Brewer's also in there, but Raleigh Fingers gets the starting nod out of the bullpen. Gene Tennis gets the catcher spot. Reggie Smith at first. Dave Concepcion at second. Pete Rose at third. Cleat Boyer at short again. Yeah, he's having a good run in his career here late on. He is hurt, though. For how long? It says he's injured, but here it doesn't say he is, so maybe he's not anymore. Jim Wynn in left, Clemente in center, and Dave Parker in right, getting his second in a row All-Star appearance. So he's off to a great start in his early career. We will see how this plays out. It's going to be a tight race between us. The Cubs have the ability to get back in it as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them. One of these four teams are going to take it. Hopefully it's us, but we don't know until we play things out. Well, the season ended well for us. We were able to hold off the Pirates, and the Cubs fell way back behind, so did the Mets. We ended up with another 100 wins because we had a strong second half, as we normally have. Went up against the Braves in the NL West. The Orioles won the AL East, and the AL West was taken by the Angels. You'll notice we will have an expansion draft. The Blue Jays and the Mariners are coming in this season as well, so it's going to be a busy offseason. When we look at the playoffs, we will go to the playoff tree, and we were able to sweep the Braves as the Orioles swept the Angels. But then, after going down 3-0, we won 2, but the Orioles took us out in the World Series to win their 5th World Series championship, first one since 1969. They just dominated us, and Mike Schmidt was the MVP, hitting 500 with 2 home runs. We couldn't do anything against him. Gene Tennis had a great World Series for us, but that was how it ended. So congratulations to Baltimore there. Jim Catt, our former player, had a good series as well. 9 innings, 1 win. Good to see him getting in there. When we look at the final standings and awards and such, Bake McBride finished with the batting title at 329 for Boston. Johnny Bench with 24 home runs, tied with Andre Dawson. The home runs took a big step back. Same with over in the NL. Rick Monday had 110 RBI. Freddie Patek with 84 stolen bases. That might be a high for our simulation, and he was nowhere near that in real life, only in the 50s. This guy just came out of nowhere. The flea. Joe Morgan had another 61, and he led an OPS with 878. Reggie Jackson with an 8.2 WAR, also hit 19 home runs. He is well below his pace. Well below. Maybe playing out in California is not doing him very much. He's got a lot of doubles. I don't know. We will see if he becomes does he become a free agent anytime soon? No, he's locked in there. So maybe it's the stadium. Let's see. Hitting streak, Bob Bailey's 25 held up. John Montefusco beat John Candelaria 2.66 for the ERA title. Catfish Hunter had a great season. Maybe we could have used him in the World Series. I don't know. Dennis Leonard with 20 wins, the only one in the AL. Burt Blyleven with 236 strikeouts. The Eck is showing up starting for Kansas City as well, but 9-17 is pretty rough. They should move him to the bullpen. Raleigh Eastwick with 42 saves. So another 40 save, back-to-back 40 save seasons for the man. And Dennis Leonard with an 8-pitcher WAR. In the NL, Clemente gets yet another batting title. That is his, what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th batting title. He's hitting .311 for his career. He's approaching 4,000 hits. And Ty Cobb's 4,300 hits, I believe, is where we're at as the record in our run-through. Richie Zisk has 30 home runs and 92 RBI. He had a .311 average, so he was Triple Crown worthy almost. Lou Brock won the stolen base title again with 63. Gene Tennis with an .890 OPS. Jay Johnstone with the 8.6 batter WAR, beating out Clemente and Parker. Parker's home run totals went way down, but he still hit the ball well. Played good defense for us also. Bostock's hitting streak at 24 games. was number one. Koufax with a 1.72 ERA, but here's the thing. He is a free agent, so we're going after him. We have money to spend. We got our players locked up. We're going to see if we can get him for the last 3 or 4 years of his career. Randy Jones, Tom Seaver were right behind him. Jim Palmer with 28 wins. Koufax had 26 in 36 games. Oh, join our team, Sandy. Phil Niekro with 23 wins. Koufax with 260 strikeouts, beating out Seaver and Ryan. Tug McGraw had 38 saves for Houston. And Koufax with a 9.6 pitcher WAR. Now, when we take a look at the final awards for the season, starting with the Gold Gloves in the AL, it's Terry Forster. For the Red Sox, John Stearns beating out Johnny Bench. So we have a new John. Jastrzemski at first base, Jerry Remy at second, Bob Hess at third. Is that Hess or Heiss? Heiss? Mark Bellinger at short, Bernie Carbo at left, Jerry Mumphrey in center, and Dwight Evans for the A's in right field. The NL, we got Rick Wise at pitcher, Clay Dalrymple again. So the battery mates again for the Dodgers. John Milner at first, Rob Andrews at second. That's a new name. Ken McMullen at third, Frank Taveras at short, George Foster in left, Juan Beniquez beating out Clemente in center, and then Dave Parker getting one in right. AL reliever of the year goes to Chris Zachary beating out Gene Garber. Eastwick was fourth, no first place votes. Zachary was 2.54 ERA, 10-4 with 26 saves. Beating out Garber barely, who was 8-2 with 4 saves and a 2.41 ERA. Ralph Terry even got some first place votes. The man Eastwick just wasn't respected. In the NL, it was Skip Lockwood for the Braves with his 2-0 record, 15 saves. He pitched in 20 games. 25. Oh, no, for Philly. He was traded. So he also had 21 saves for Philly. Okay, that's deserving. Jim Brewer was up there with 35 saves. Not that strong of a season. AL Silver Sluggers go to Ted Simmons at catcher, Yastrzemski at first, Joe Morgan at second, George Brett at third, Mike Schmidt at short, Joe Rudy in left, Bake McBride in center, Reggie Jackson in right, and Pat Kelly as the DH. The NL, Bill Bonham at pitcher, Gene Tennis, our guy, getting one, his second one for his career. Reggie Smith at first, Rick Burleson in second, Pete Rose at third, Cleat Boyer again at short. Look at this. He's got 2 back-to-back. He's got the Gold Gloves. Give the man some Hall of Fame respect. Even though he can't lead any categories, he's just consistent, and his defense has been good. Richie Zisk in left, Clemente in center, and Jay Johnstone in right. Rookie of the Year awards go to Dave Winfield, hitting .284, 18 home runs, 76 RBIs, 23 stolen bases, 80 runs, a 6.9 WAR. Andre Dawson, the Hawk, was there as well. 98 RBIs, 24 home runs. Man, there's some big hitters coming in the AL. In the NL, we've got Lyman Bostock. We've already seen him show up with the leading hitting streak, and he was up there, I think, in third in batting average. Nino Espinosa for the Padres picked up 1 first-place vote. So the Pirates are hoping they better be able to sign Koufax or else they're going to be left behind. Jim Rice also appearing for Montreal. Cy Young awards go to Dennis Leonard of the Red Sox. 20-game winner, we know. John Montefusco picked up 3. Bill Hands got 1. Oh, he's hurt too, 5 to 6 weeks. In the NL, oh, shocker. Sandy Koufax again with that amazing season. Palmer and Niekro showing up there, though, for us, so that's good. And Joe Morgan picks up an MVP over Reggie Jackson. This is his 3rd MVP in a row, no less. He is dominating the AL. They've got him and Reggie Jackson. That's why they're making it to the World Series and the playoffs all the time. And they've got Steve Carlton and Jerry Koosman. Man, they are set. They just haven't been able to get over the hump. In the NL, it goes to Koufax beating out Clemente. And Gene Tennis was up there. Dave Parker was up there. Jane Johnstone and Richie Zisk all got first place votes as well. But Koufax picking up his 2nd MVP. But look at all these Cy Youngs as well. His numbers are going to be insane. 2 MVPs, 9 Cy Youngs. Wow. Well, let's get ready for the first year player draft. We will see here the top names. Tim Raines is out there. Paul Molitor, Willie McGee, Dave Henderson, Mike Davis. We are predicted to take Bob Welch, which I would gladly take him. Maury Wills did retire for us. 2,300 hits, 1,100 runs, 600 RBI. He was at the top of the lineup there. 500 stolen bases, 51 WAR. Don't think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. These numbers aren't quite high enough, but he'll at least get some votes and get a shot. So this is where we are. We're drafting 25th, way back. Only ones behind us are the 2 expansion teams who have their expansion draft coming up as well. When we look at the lineups, we got Dave Righetti is also out here. Bob Welch, I marked him because he is expected to go to us, so I want to see if he actually falls that far. Not a lot of other pitchers, but hitters. We got Molitor and Raines and Baines. Dave Henderson, Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith. I have him marked because we want the Wizard of Oz. He can take over for Cleat Boyer and just be our defensive master. Joe Lefebvre is up there. Mike Scioscia. So there's some names out there. George Vukovic is back in there. Did he not? Different Vukovic. So we'll see how things shake out here. Let's start this draft and see who goes where. Are the Expos going to take Molitor? No, Tim Rock Raines goes there. So Tim Raines is going to the Expos. The Royals are going to take Molitor. Phillies take Dave Righetti. The Yankees get Jesse Barfield. Jim Gott goes to the Giants. The Dodgers take Brian Harper. Pascual Perez to the White Sox. Oh, Bob Welch, he was expected to fall all the way to us. Instead goes at number 8 to Cleveland. Cincinnati takes Harold Baines. Willie McGee to the Yankees. Dave Henderson to the Mets. Jeff the Terminator Reardon goes to the Astros. Milwaukee gets Bill Gullickson. Steve Farr to the Tigers. The Cubs take Greg Walker. Oh, I was hoping he'd fall to us. Ozzie goes to the Twins. But he started with the Padres his career. Maybe we can get him later. Scott Sanderson to the Red Sox. Tony Brazzolara to the Orioles. Kevin Bass to the Padres. The A's take Terry Kennedy. Joe Beckwith to the Rangers. Wally Backman to the Pirates. Marty Bistrom to the Angels. The Braves take Mike Davis. Now they are wanting us to take Mickey Hatcher. I doubt we're going to do that. We don't really need a third baseman. We don't need an outfielder as much either. Mike Scioscia is interesting. Solid catcher. We could use a catcher. Rafael Ramirez could be our shortstop, but he's more likely to be an outfielder. What do we have as far as pitchers available? Frank DiPino. We don't really want to spend a draft pick on a reliever if we don't have to, though. You know what? I think we're going to take Scioscia. Well, no, I don't. Mickey Hatcher can run, though, too. We're going to take Scioscia. We'll do that. And to round out the first round, we've got the Blue Jays taking Mickey Hatcher, and the Mariners take Dave LaPointe. So we're going to finish up this draft, and then we'll see what the expansion draft holds. Well, we have the expansion draft ready to go. It is the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Let's take a look to see who is out here. We've got, for pitchers, not a lot to choose from for them. Oh, they're going to struggle. Jim Bibby, we do have him unprotected. Pedro Bourbon, he's one of ours. He's unprotected. Jim Bunning's out there as well. Jim Perry just had a solid season for Baltimore. Not a lot out there for them to choose from. What about batters? Art Howe for us. Hopefully they take him because the poor guy's not getting anything in the majors. Otherwise, Gary Alexander. Yeah, Bob Baylor, that's one of ours. Larry Boa's out there. Yeah, these teams are going to struggle a lot. Good luck to you guys. Let's see who the first couple are. Seattle is going to take Juan Beniquez first. Art Howe goes to the Blue Jays. Then they're taking Larry Anderson. And then Mike Jorgensen. And then I don't know who else is going to go anywhere. So let's see how this goes. And if we lose anybody, we lost Art Howe, we already knew. Bob Baylor, we lost him, but again, he never made it to the majors for us. Pedro Bourbon, so there is one of our relievers. He went to the Blue Jays. We've lost anybody else? No one there. Doesn't look... Oh, Ron Swoboda. Love the name. And then... Is that all we lost? Wow, we came out of that pretty good. Pretty good. So we will have to move some people around. I don't know why they want Ryan in the bullpen over behind Dick Ruthven. That's not going to happen. The computer likes to change the lineups around every time. But I'm going to go through the offseason, and we'll pick back up after our first free agency period to see what happens as we get ready for the 1977 season. Okay, we are ready for opening day 1977, where we are going against the Pittsburgh Pirates and Sandy Oh, no. Sandy Koufax is for us. We went all out. We did sign him. We went big on the first one. We're going all in on him. We also made a trade for Raleigh Fingers, where we traded away Mike Adams to bring him in. We signed him to a smaller extension. So our lineup going into 1977 is going to be Koufax at start of the rotation, Jim Palmer behind him, Nolan Ryan, and Phil Niekro. Fingers is going to take over the closer role for Jim Brewer, but Brewer is going to be moving into setup. Tommy John's going to be moving to the bullpen. Jim Bibby's going to be back there with him, so is Charlie Huff. I like this rotation. Our main roster is going to be Dave Concepcion leading off, Roberto Clemente behind him, Dave Parker in left, Steve Garvey at first, Gene Tennis again at catcher, Ron Say at third. Jack Clark is moving into right field and Cleat Boyer at short. Lou Brock, he can still hit, he can still run, but his defense is becoming weaker. His on-base percentage was at a low, all of this was at a very low amount. His WAR's just not there. So we're letting Jack Clark have a chance to see what he can do this time. As far as the Hall of Fame goes, I accidentally deleted that one. So let's see who went into the Hall of Fame. Here we go. Nobody. Smokey Burgess was 0.3 away, and ballplayer Gonzalez was 1 away. Lou Boudreau missed out. Olivo missed out. Allie Reynolds missed out. Larry Doby missed out. That's all shame. There was some that I thought really had a shot. Larry Doby is the one that had, here are his stats. 2,300 hits, 1,300 runs, 1,200 RBI, 256 average, 54 WAR. He won an MVP in 1952. He led the league in RBI and walks. He had a 10-2 WAR. Yeah, he just didn't put together this. I guess he didn't have as big of a career as I thought. But I am excited to see. Let's take a look at free agents. Catfish Hunter was a free agent. Cepeda's still a free agent, but he's 39. Some of the top free agents there. When we look at pitchers, nobody really. Dick Raditz is out there, but he's 40. Oh, we did sign Jim Bunning back as well. We brought him back in for probably his final year. So we'll see how things go in this first year after free agency. I'm intrigued. I know our team's still strong. Will it stay that way as things go? And did somebody else maybe build up? I would say Pittsburgh did not. They're going to be hurting. Oh, they got Yastrzemski, though. Bringing him over from the White Sox. Bostock's coming, or he was with Pittsburgh last time. That's right. Okay. Well, they made a move there, too. They got Goose Gossage coming over. They got him from Kansas City last season. All right, well, this is exciting to see, and let's see how 77 plays out. All right, the first half has been a good first half for us. It started off sluggish. We were in back and forth, but then we got on a 9-game winning streak, then a 5 or 6 game winning streak a little bit after that, and things have been going well as we have a 9.5 game lead over the Pittsburgh Pirates, 10 over the Mets. I mean, 5 teams are 500 or better, though. So it's the West that's struggling yet again. The Giants are half game up. We have our 2 new expansion teams dragging the bottom, 14.5 down. For the Blue Jays, 24.5 back are the Mariners. The Orioles and Tigers are in a tight one, and the Twins are leading the White Sox. The Angels have taken a big step back this season. I do want to mention before we'll do that in just a second. Let's look at the leaders. Al Bunbury with a 376 average. Cliff Johnson has 27 home runs. That's already the tied for the league lead at the end of the season last year. Reggie Jackson's up there with 75 RBI. He's already got 23 home runs as well. Joe Morgan with 43 stolen bases and a 1,025 OPS. Mike Schmidt, though, has a 5.4 WAR. He's also got 20 home runs and 62 RBI. Ben Ogilvy has a 24-game hitting streak. Mark Fidrich with a 1.63 ERA for Texas. Ron Guidry, Marty Patton, and Rick Rochelle all have 11 wins. Guidry has 149 strikeouts as well, though. So he's really getting his first time as a starter, and he is showing up. Tom Johnson has 25 saves, and Fidrich with a 5.5 WAR. In the NL, Clemente is going for yet another batting title. Apparently, he's hitting 379. Dave Parker's hitting 343. There's Eddie Murray showing up for the first time as a rookie for Philadelphia. Dave Kingman has 23 home runs. Garvey with 77 RBIs and hitting 302 with 16 home runs. Cedeno has 47 stolen bases. Somebody else will get the crown with Brock not starting for us. Clemente has a 995 OPS, but it's not enough to catch Bernie Carbo at 1009. And Clemente with a 5.5 WAR. He's making a run at an MVP season again. Parker had a 20-game hitting streak, followed by Garvey and Hendrick. Koufax with a 2.20 ERA and 14 wins, tied with Nolan Ryan. Him and Ryan are duking it out for strikeouts, 176 to 171. Ooh, it is close. Koufax has 20 more innings than Ryan, too. Koufax with a 5.2 WAR, and Skip Lockwood with 26 saves. One thing I did want to mention is Mickey Mantle retired. 724 home runs, 2,100 RBI, 3,500 hits, 2,300 runs, 137 WAR. Way more, not the WAR, but as far as the other numbers, he was able to accumulate way more. Hank Aaron also retired, reaching 745, 10 off his mark, 2,400 RBI, which is better, almost 4,000 hits. He was 200 hits more than what he got in real life. 151 WAR, 134 here. He won 2 MVPs. And then we've got Eddie Matthews retired as well. He ended up with 557 home runs, 1,700 RBI, 1,600 runs, 2,800 hits. He wasn't starting a lot here. That held down his home run totals probably. But he still played longer than he did in real life, and he ended up with more home runs. He'll be a Hall of Famer, 3-time MVP. So those are some notable retirees. I don't think anybody did. Oh, Juan Marichal. He's still a free agent. So he's not retired yet. Now let's take a look at the All-Star teams real quick. Who is starting? So for the AL, Mark Fidrich is starting. Catfish Hunter is bounced back. He's with Cleveland now. Not as strong, so we traded him at the right time, apparently. Gene Garber for the closer spot. Tim McCarver, Minnesota now, going over from the Reds and having his best year yet. Thurman Munson also denoted as a starter for Oakland. Bob Watson at Minnesota. Joe Morgan for California still. Johnny Bench at third base. That's different because they brought in McCarver. So don't they also have Fisk? Oh, they do. And Fisk is playing center field. No wonder their defense is so bad. What are they doing? Minnesota. I don't know. Okay. Mike Schmidt at shortstop. Cliff Johnson in left. Ben Ogilvy in center and Reggie Jackson in right field. For the NL, Koufax gets the start. We have Necro Palmer also making the team. Jim Brewer gets it for relievers. Gary Carter for catcher. Finally being recognized at Montreal there. Gene Tennis backing him up. Rod Carew at first base, having another fine hitting season. Mike Cubbage at second for the Mets. Pete Rose at third for the Dodgers, going over from Pittsburgh. in free agency. Cleat Boyer at shortstop yet again. He is picking up the all-stars there. How's he looking? He's getting closer. I don't think he's going to make it. He doesn't have the gray ink or the black ink to do it, but we'll find out. Carbo in left doesn't get the start, though. Clemente in center, Dave Parker in right, and Reggie Smith in right as well. So they will be splitting. Reggie Smith's having a good season. So that's the all-star. We're going to hope we hold things off. You can see we are doing well as a team in all the categories. Not stealing bases so much this time, but defense is strong. Lou Brock is on the bench. He's only stolen 2 bases. He's hitting .320, so yeah, he's only started 5 games, though, so he doesn't get in much. Gary Templeton has stolen 4. He's got in 21 games, so he's up on our major league roster. But Jack Clark, 12 home runs, 50 RBI, 50 runs, 283 average. We moved him up to hit 5th because Gene Tennis was struggling. Tennis is doing a little bit better back here in 7th. But we're going to see, can we finish strong and take the World Series, or are we going to lose it again? We've been getting close. We've been on a great run in the 70s. We want to keep that run going. Well, we ended the season very strong, 10 games above the Mets, who had a fantastic season. The power was all on the NL East because the NL West, again, only one team above 500, and it was our nemesis, the Dodgers, who we had to face in the NLCS. Even though we beat them in the regular season, they came in hot. Notice, though, the AL West, Minnesota, 102 wins right there with us. And the Tigers eking by with 3 games over the Orioles. Now, when you go to the playoffs, you'll see we did dispatch the Dodgers easily, just like the Twins did the Tigers. And we actually won easily against the Twins as well, which is shocking when you see how many runs they scored. 949 to our 772. The DH is making a difference. And they were 4th in AL with 751 runs allowed. We allowed 520. Clemente picked up the MVP for the series, hitting .444 with 10 RBI on 8 hits. That was Garvey hitting that. Clemente hit .474 with 4 RBIs and home run. I don't know how Garvey didn't get it. Koufax, 2 shutouts in his, he pitched 7 innings and won 9 innings in the LCS to make it worth what we spent on him. I love this lineup because look how balanced it was. You can see we did great in hitting, 273 team average. The defense and pitching was just absolutely phenomenal. This was such a strong team. We're going to hopefully keep it together as long as we can. We do have some announcements. Jim Bunning did retire, 209 wins, 3.53 ERA, 2,600 strikeouts and 59 WAR. He did win a Cy Young in 1961, where he led the league in WHIP, and that was all. But he went 18-6. He also led the league in losses in 1966 with a 3.76 ERA. That was a rough season, and a 6.1 WAR with 20 losses, which was better than in his Cy Young season. He's going to get some points and some votes, but he's not probably going to get enough to get into the MVP race. As far as free agents, these are some the big names. Davey Lopes, Roger Maris, who has had these stellar stats, these ratings, but he's barely getting some starts. When he does, Baltimore, 313, 15 home runs, 73 RBIs, 4.7 more than a 5 WAR, but then they stopped playing him. In Seattle, in Minnesota, bounced around between those two teams. They ended up with 9 home runs, 316 average at 2.7 WAR. If only people would give him a shot. We unfortunately don't really have a spot for him. I'd love to put him in there to see how he could do, because he never got close to the 61, obviously. But he's going to get some Hall of Fame votes, which is fantastic, and that's good to see. All right, let's wrap up the stats and the awards and see the draft. So, batting title in the AL went to Al Bunbury by 1 point with a 344 over the other Al. Look at Boston with 3 top hitting teams, but they finished 74 and 88. I'm going to guess, pitching and defense, not their strength. Cliff Johnson with 39 home runs tied Willie McCovey. Joe Morgan with 38 home runs to go along with his 82 stolen bases. Bill Robinson had 130 RBI. Morgan 1016 OPS and an 8.9 WAR. I'm guessing he won the MVP. Mike Schmidt, though, finished second there with a 37 home run campaign. George Brett showing up as well. Ben Ogilvy, 24-game hitting streak held up. Mark Fidrich, 2.29 ERA held up. Came back down to earth a little bit. Rick Rochelle with 21 wins, though. And Ron Guidry, 242 strikeouts to go with his 2.54 ERA and his 19 wins. Tom Johnson with 42 saves. And Dennis Leonard, though, with a 7.9 pitcher WAR. In the NL, Clemente picking up another batting title at 353. Kingman, another home run title after a lackluster 1976, bouncing back up to 42 home runs, beating out George Foster's 40. Steve Garvey leading the way with 119 RBIs on only 23 home runs, but he had Clemente getting on base in front of him. Cedeno with 66 stolen bases. Reggie Smith and Davey Johnson both topped 1,000. 1,030 for Reggie Smith. Clemente, though, 8.4 WAR. Dave Parker had the 20-game hitting streak, beating out teammates Concepcion and Garvey by a game. Steve Rogers with a 2.38 ERA, so Pittsburgh still had the ERA crown. Koufax came in third with 2.53, but he had 24 wins to lead the way. 305 strikeouts for Nolan Ryan, beating Koufax's 289. Skip Lockwood with 39 saves, and Koufax with an 8 in the pitcher WAR. Now, when we look at the awards, we will see Gold Glove Awards going to John Denny. Clay Dalrymple again, picking up his 7th. Well done, Clay. Andre Thornton for the Yankees at first base. Art Howe, our former guy, getting a chance in Toronto. Good to see him getting some accolades before moving into management. Steve Burrows at third. Mike Schmidt at short. Henry Cruz at left. Juan Beniquez in Seattle at center field. And Jim Wynn, who has retired at 35. He couldn't hit his way out of a paper bag. Apparently hitting 194 and 188 the year before. But he got a Gold Glove. Oh, man, that was a rough last few seasons. He struck out a ton. Walked a bunch, too, though. Always had a solid WAR. He did well for Pittsburgh. Not going to be a Hall of Famer, though. In the NL, Paul Muskow at Pittsburgh. Bill Freehan for the Mets at catcher. First base, Jason Thompson for the Braves. Second base, Dave Concepcion. And Ron Say at third. Oh, teammates. Mark Bellinger for the Cubs in short. John Milner for the Expos in left. Chet Lemon at center field. And Jack Clark as a rookie. Will he get Rookie of the Year award? 23 home runs, 100 RBIs if he doesn't, and a Gold Glove. That'll be crazy if he doesn't. Bruce Sutter, 18 first place votes for the Twins. 36 saves, 2.84 ERA, 5-2, beating out Bob Apodaca for the A's, who was 8-5, 3 saves, 2.01 ERA. So a setup man there. In the NL, Gary Lavelle, 14 first place vote, beating out Raleigh Fingers and Skip Lockwood, who was the saves winner. Lavelle with 38, though, no shame there at a 1.80 ERA. Bill Campbell for the Reds picking up a vote as well. Silver Sluggers in the AL, John Stearns at catcher. Bob Watson at first, hitting .317. Joe Morgan at second, no surprise. Johnny Bench at third base, which is interesting. Mike Schmidt for the Orioles at short. Al Oliver hitting .343 in left field. Ben Ogilvy in center. Reggie Jackson at right, coming back with 36 home runs this time. And Tim McCarver for the DH in the mini catcher Twins, because you got Carlton Fisk there as well. In the NL, Eddie Solomon at pitcher. Gail Hopkins at catcher. Davey Johnson at first. Davey Lopes at second. Eric Soderholm at third for the Mets. Cleat Boyer picking up another one. 21 home runs. He's getting better with age. It's like fine wine there. George Foster at left field. 40 home runs. Clemente in center with the batting title again. And Reggie Smith with his 38 home runs. 318 average. 410 OPS or on base and 620 slugging. Wow. Well deserved, Reggie. Listed as a first baseman, though. Rookie of the Year, Art Howe. Well done, Art. 30-year-old rookie, but I'm glad to see it. Beating out Bump Willis. NL, Jack Clark, not unanimously though. Eddie Murray with 101 RBIs, 314. Okay. The Gold Glove might have put him over the top though. And we have Ron Guidry winning the Cy Young over Mark Fidrich, 23 first place votes to 2. While the NL Cy Young goes to Sandy Koufax, beating out Tom Seaver, who had another fantastic year, but he just can't get the Cy Young. He'll get the Hall of Fame, but he just can't get it because Koufax just keeps racking them up. What is that? 10 Cy Youngs now. Wow. And the MVP goes to Joe Morgan once again, beating out Bob Watson, who got 1 vote for the Twins. Deservedly so, I'd say, but Morgan was just untouchable. What's he up to stolen base-wise? 641. He continues to just go nuts. He is coming near the end of his prime, though, in his peak, it looks like, according to real life. So what will he do the next couple seasons? Clemente getting an MVP over Koufax. Seaver got a first-place vote. Clemente picking up his 4th one. Well done. He reached 4,000 hits. He's getting closer and closer to trying to get that hit title away from DiMaggio, or Ty Cobb and DiMaggio. 300 home runs he hit this time, 125 WAR. He's going to hit 2,000 runs this next season. Doesn't get the RBIs though. 219 stolen bases. All right, let's take a look at the first year player draft. We're going to be drafting 25th, so we're not going to get anybody any good. But Cal Ripken Jr. is in this draft. Chili Davis, Ryan Sandberg, George Bell, Julio Franco, Kirk Gibson, Steve Sachs, who was one of my favorites growing up. I played shortstop, and I just thought his name was great. I wasn't a White Sox fan or anything, but it's just a fantastic name. I don't really see any other big ones that stand out to me. And as far as pitchers go, not much. Jesse Orosco, the ageless wonder, is going to be there going until 2003. That's crazy. 79 to 2003. This is why, you become a lefty when got a good solid career ahead of you. All right, let's see who we end up with and who's going. So to start, we're going to go to the batters because that's where all the big names are going to be. The Royals are going to start by building around Cal Ripken Jr. Good choice. The Cubs are going to take Chili Davis. Expos are going to take Sandberg. The Yankees take Steve Sachs. The Braves, Julio Franco. George Bell goes to Houston. The Red Sox get Rich Gedman. Cleveland takes Andy McGaffigan. The Reds, Luis De Leon. Mike Witt. Oh, yeah, I forgot Witt was out there. He's a solid pitcher. Goes to the Giants. Kirk Gibson to the Padres. The Brewers take Mike Morgan. Bob Horner to the Dodgers. Steve Bedrosian to the White Sox. Lloyd Mosby to the Orioles. The Pirates take Doug Jones. Larry Sheets to the Phillies. The Tigers get Dave Stieb. Angels, Tom Brunansky. Padres, Nick Esaski. Texas takes Mike Boddicker. Tony Phillips goes to the Mets. Kevin Bass to the A's. The Twins take Mel Hall. And we are going to go, do we do Charlie Liebrant? Solid little run there in the 80s. We need some more pitching help. There's no one out here that we need. Bob Ojeda. He's got movement potential. He does start. Had a better run, I'd say, than Liebrant. So let's go with him. To round out the first round, we've got Toronto taking Candy Maldonado, and then the Mariners taking Charlie Liebrant. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this stretch, and it's been a fun one. It's exciting to see what free agency is going to be like and how that's going to change the game as we wrap up the 1970s in our next episode. So be sure to come back for that one, and we will see you then.